everyone. Welcome to the SOP, the Soul Original Podcast. I am your host, Corey Besmer, and I really appreciate you tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, welcome. Welcome to this little corner of the internet that we've carved out. And thank you for joining. Feel free to leave a review wherever you're listening to this on, whether that's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or whatever. This thing's available everywhere. So also, if you have any feedback, if you have any requests, any ideas for me, please let me know. I want to make this as awesome as it can possibly be. I know it's still very young, but I want it to be valuable for people looking to grow a business, start a business, or just, continue growing or whatever. Whatever your business goals are, that's what I want to help you with. And I want to make sure I have the guests that are going to help you do that. And today I can truly say that I do have a great guest on the podcast. Today's guest is Jen Esparza. Like I think all the guests I've had on, I met Jen through our local Chamber of Commerce. She is an awesome person, and she's really great at marketing. She helps small business owners with their marketing. She even wrote a book. It is called, voila, Marketing Basics for Your Small Business. If you're not watching this, there is a video version, and I'm holding her book in my hands. It's awesome. Great job, Jen. And she even has another book on the way. So, you got to support the little people like us, all right? So, hop on Amazon. It's available, I think, for $12. That's nothing, guys. That's like 2 Starbucks. Tomorrow it'll be 1 Starbucks. So, support the little people any way you can. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I'm one of those crazy little people. So, I hope you guys enjoy this conversation. I feel like I'm going on too long. So, thanks again. Follow Soul Original Media on Instagram. Follow this journey we're on, and enjoy the podcast. Hello, Jen Esparza. How's it going?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Thanks for coming in. You're the third guest on the Soul Original Podcast, and really excited to talk to you today.
I feel honored to be here.
Yeah, you are. You've written a book, which I actually brought with me.
Nice.
I meant to have it right here, which is awesome. I think we met like 2 years ago-ish.
Yeah, right.
Probably at the Roseville Chamber.
Yep.
That's where I met Vince and Justin as well, I guess. So I guess tell me and mostly the listeners kind of who you are and what you do, and kind of share your passion for marketing.
Yeah. So my name is Jen Esparza, and I run the Jen Advantage, which is marketing for small businesses and nonprofits. Mm-hmm. I started because I really found a need with small business owners who they get into business and they're really good at what they do, whether it's that they're a plumber or hairdresser or insurance salesman, and marketing and HR and legal just were not the things that they signed up to do. Yeah. So my passion is in marketing and anything creative. So if I can take that off their plate and help them become successful with that and help them grow their business, they can get back to doing what they like to do, and I get to do what I like to do. Awesome.
Love it. So why marketing? What kind of started it for you? What's kind of like your origin story? And I guess how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, so it's a good one. I've had some vein of marketing throughout my entire career, but right before the pandemic, I had taken a job as an editor for a magazine, which was a dream job. I love anything creative, anything with writing, anything with words, and I was also part-time marketing director at a nonprofit at the same time. Well, the pandemic hit, and this magazine I was working for unfortunately folded, and I was left to decide, what now? And so I've had this marketing throughout my entire career, and then I was doing the marketing for a nonprofit already. And so it was kind of this really great opportunity to do whatever I wanted next, there was a lot of freedom in that.
Yeah.
And so I used that opportunity to start a business and realized that what a need there was for it. So especially coming out of all of that. And it's felt so right to be able to help people in that way.
Yeah, that's cool. I think a lot of businesses were kind of born out of the pandemic for sure.
Yeah. And I like to say at least that's something, it's a happy ending out of all of the craziness.
Yeah. What makes you excited to get up in the morning? Like, you mentioned that you have a passion for helping, small business owners, I guess. Do you have like a moment where it kind of clicked for you that like, I love doing this?
I think anytime I realize how much I'm helping somebody when I see like the relief in them, like their business is growing, they're getting more phone calls, they're getting more customers, they're getting busy, they're hiring people, and there's a direct correlation. So the funny thing about marketing is sometimes it's hard to completely bring back to like, okay, this is exactly what made your business grow. You're doing all kinds of different marketing. But you can tell to some degree, obviously, if you were doing none before and now you're doing all of these things, to watch all of that progress being made and to see like what kind of difference I'm making, not only in like that business person's life, but in the employees they're hiring, all of that, just that trickle effect. I absolutely I thrive on.
I love it. Cool. Well, you wrote a book, which is awesome. I mean, that's just the fact that you can say like, you wrote a book is pretty cool, I think. Do you want to kind of talk about the book a little bit? It's called Marketing Basics.
Yes, for your small business.
For your small business.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought it up because I actually sometimes forget to tell people that that's a huge thing that I've done, and I kind of forget to tell people about it. But it was my pride and joy and my baby. Like I said, I love to write. And as I started my business, I realized I'm only one person, so I can only help so many people. And I realized, well, if I could put this all down in a book, there's folks out there who either one or they're brand new and they just they need to even know where to start and where to begin with marketing. And others just really don't have the funds to be able to hire someone, or they like that creative piece, but they want to try to do it on their own.
Right.
And so it was to be able to put it all down into words as to like, these are the things you need to look for. This is what's important. And just really it's 150 pages. It's not like this huge manual of every detail you ever needed to know, but it's an awesome jumping point for a business person who really does not know what they're doing with marketing, just to give them that like overview of where to begin. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dove into it. I'm the type of person I read like 4 books at once, so I haven't quite finished it. But I could tell right off the bat, like if you're starting a business, this is like 101.
Yeah.
Seems like, there's a lot of things that, people should be doing right off the bat to just like organizationally, I think.
Yeah.
It'll help them stay organized. It'll help them kind of dive into like their business's identity, which is I think a big part of that first part.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I was reading, how important is it to kind of establish that identity and like, find your unique value proposition early on?
If there was like one thing that your listeners took away, that is it right there. And that's really figuring out what your value proposition is. And all that really means is like, what do you do? Who are you? And what do you do? For some businesses, it's a little easier. Like, say you're an electrician. Well, we know what an electrician is, but do you do commercial? Do you do residential? What type of things, are you fixing like small home improvements, or do you install EV chargers? Like there's this whole wide array. And in order for someone to really know who you are and how to choose you, like they need to know those details. But it's also critical if you are, say, like a business coach. Well, there's people out there who don't know what that even means. And they're like, I don't know. Yeah. So
it's so broad.
It is. So to really like figure out what it is that you're bringing to the table, like what problem you're solving for them. And actually, I think I heard you say something to this, extent in a video recently about like, we can tell them all the wonderful things we do, but until we can tell them what problems we're solving for them, they don't understand why they need video or marketing or whatever. And really just coming up with like that, who they are, their identity, but then all of the branding that goes along with that. And, you know, some people, they just don't understand. They don't understand it because that's not what they do. But, you know, things just like brand recognition with colors and fonts and logos, and why that's so important that all of those things go together. Otherwise, you know, a lot of the money they spend in marketing goes to waste.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I mean, like you brought up, you know, electrician, and, you know, that's really broad, but every industry is really broad. Like, you know, I'm in video production, but I know there's so many other videographers, filmmakers out there that do things way different than I do, or do, you know, make other types of videos.
True.
You know, like you can't just say like, hi, I'm Corey. I make videos for businesses. Like, okay, what kind of videos are they, you know, telling a story? Are they going to end up on people's websites? Are they more, you know, shorter videos for social media? I mean, the list goes on and on. So,
and that's something I say in the book too. It's like marketing is not an event; it's a process. Like there's, it's hard. It's very easy for people to want to just grab on to like, okay, well, I'm going to start a social media channel and I'm going to post a few videos and a few posts and like, why isn't my business coming? And a lot of that book just really, and I do this with my clients, is focus on getting all of, you know, that framework done beforehand of the identity and who you are, and, you know, making sure things like your customer service is in place and making sure you're offering a good product. Because if we don't do that before we do marketing, the marketing might be completely off point and miss the mark.
Right. Awesome. How long did it take you, like from start to finish, to write the book?
Oh gosh. To write the book, the whole process was about a year, but I would not say it did not physically take me an entire year to do it. That's, you know, running a business, being a mom and a wife, living a life, and being able to get it done in between all of that. So the whole process was about a year.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. What has like been the response been from people that you know or didn't know, I guess? Like, has it, like, I would think like when people see that you wrote a book, it's like, oh my gosh, like Jen, she's pretty legit. Like,
I think it does add credibility.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm hoping this podcast even does, honestly.
Absolutely.
So,
well, sometimes it's just a matter of showing that if you're going to take the time to do something, you must really value it, and you must really care about what you're doing if you're going to take the time in order to do it. And I do. And I know I say it all the time, but that's just one way I can show that I actually really do care. And it's given me opportunities to be able to like talk in front of groups of business owners. And that's really my mission. And I'm still on the path of figuring out exactly how I'm going to, you know, spread the word to the world. But the more people I can honestly get in front of and help, the better. And that's truly what my mission is the more, you know, I see so many people who get taken advantage of, or gosh, they are great at what they do and their marketing is just because it's not on point, they're not doing well. And the more people I can help and like become more successful, then the better I get to feel.
Awesome. There's also like so many, you know, marketing gurus online, you know, it can be so confusing, you know, and even like I've seen some younger guys trying to teach people when they really don't know what they're talking about. So that is not the case with you. And I think that's, yeah, it seems like you have a very personal approach with business owners, and you only take on like a certain number of clients, correct?
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's just my nature to have that personal, and I think there's room at the table for everybody. So it's really easy to go to an event where there's other people who do what you do, and to get like either feel the imposter syndrome of, oh my gosh, they've been in the business longer, they're better than me, or their company's bigger than mine. But what I've learned is that there truly is someone for everyone. So I can be in an event like a Chamber of Commerce meeting and 4 people stand up and say they do marketing. Well, I know that the people who come up to me afterwards, like I resonated with them, and that's great because, you know, the guy across the room is talking to someone else and he resonated with someone else. So I don't have to, for one, I don't have to be responsible to do marketing for the world. But I also am confident that there's like enough business to go around that we'll all find our fit. And so I find confidence in that, of knowing that the people who, you know, are right for me will find me.
Right. That's why it's called a unique value proposition, right?
Exactly.
Like, just because you're in marketing, like you still do business differently. You still do, like, marketing's really broad, like
Yeah.
we talked about.
Yeah.
So, and also, like, your approach is very different than, someone else's. So yeah, there's plenty of work to go around. That goes with video too. I mean, like, we're in my friend Matt, this is his studio. And like, we've hired each other. I was just working on one of his projects.
Nice.
That's the cool thing about the video world, I think, specifically, is we all kind of hire each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah. John Meldrum is part of the Roseville Chamber, and we've worked together plenty of times
Nice.
too. So,
I think that's so
It's pretty
huge.
cool.
Like, the community piece is everything. Like, I cannot be successful on my own. Like, I'm only successful because of the people I surround myself with, who are either helping me grow just, as a person and as a business person, but also who help give me referrals and give me leads. And then I can do that back for others. And I value that so much in the community that we belong to, that we're in, because I see that happening all the time. And you might be really successful by yourself, but I promise you will be way more successful if you surround yourself with others.
yes. Yeah. We can't do it alone. That's for sure.
And it's not fun to do it by yourself either.
Yeah.
It's really not.
It's not. So I wanted to ask, like, what is your process like when you're taking on a client? I mean, maybe they've read your book, so what's kind of different when you take on a client? Let's say they've read your book, but they need help with kind of tailoring it specifically to them. Right.
So I'll have two different kinds of clients. The ones that come to me that are like, that's great, I read your book, but I don't want to do it myself. Like, and that is still great for people to read the book, even if they know they want to hire someone, because then it gives them a framework of, like, questions to ask. And I literally had a conversation with somebody who was kind of interviewing to hire me, and I realized these are the questions from my book. And I'm answering the questions, and I was like, oh, wait a second, I'm totally being interviewed with my own questions. He's reading from my book. And so it's great for that awesome too. But I know, it was kind of funny.
He just had it open
I think he
in
did.
front of him.
And so the people who want me to do the work for them, we talk about what their needs are and what they're looking for, and I explain to them what I do and what my strengths are. I usually start those relationships all with an evaluation, so similar to what the book starts with, and it's a full evaluation of what their marketing looks like. So their website, their social media, their business cards, if they've got work truck or whatever it might be, their uniforms, and coming together with all of that to kind of evaluate where they're at, and then making recommendations of where to go. And then I also have folks that come to me, they're like, great, I read your book and I want to do this, but I need help just holding my feet to the fire. And those are the people I'm doing more strategy work with. And so I'm actually coaching them, and we're, talking once a week, and helping them actually set their goals, making sure their goals are, like, measurable and actually things that make sense, not just these, off in the air, like, I just want more money, but really dialing into what they need, and then help, sticking with them throughout that strategy to help them follow through with it and see the progress and the success along the way.
Awesome. Have you found that, or I guess, what have you found to be the most, like, effective way to get clients for you? And I'm curious if the book has even, like, helped with that.
To be honest, referrals been the biggest way I've gotten clients, and it's every industry is different. So while there's some people out there who are spending a ton of money on leads or on Google ads, for when I'm a small business, so I don't have a ton of clients, so I don't need that as much. But for me, it's really been word of mouth, and I'm sure the book helps, but I wouldn't say there's a huge percentage of people who are knocking down my door just because of the book. But I think it adds to the whole idea behind marketing. So I tell a story in the book about a handyman that I saw a sign in my neighborhood, and it said his handyman business.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that's nice. And then I happened to see a truck go by, and he had his, like, truck all tricked out with his logo on it. And I'm like, oh, he's legit. Like, not only did he have signs, but he's got a truck that's wrapped. Then I heard a radio commercial, and I'm like, okay, this is truly a legitimate business. And so it took me those 3 impressions to find that he's a legitimate thing. So somebody sees my ad on, or sees a post of mine on social media. Somebody meets me in person at the chamber, or I get introduced to someone. They're like, oh, you should really try my friend Jen, who's in marketing. And then they see I've written a book. That's just one more of those touches to add credibility to what I do. So
absolutely,
it's hard to say if that's been what converted them or if it's just adding to all of those touches.
Yep. I mean, on average, how many touches does it take? I think there's some stat.
Oh,
like
I usually just say 8. Yes, because it really does depend on your industry. But I mean, that's a good, framework to use. Just the point is it takes more than one.
Right. Yep. Cool. So is there like a type of industry you specifically like to work with, or just kind of all small businesses in general?
There's not. And I kind of struggle with that because people have said, well, your life would be so much easier if that's all you did. Like I know folks who just work with realtors and they get to just regurgitate information and they're like experts in that. So it makes their lives easier. Yeah. There's some who just do it for dentists. There's actually a lot who do it just for martial arts studios. I did not even know there was that much of a need.
Yeah.
But I really love finding the value in each of the people I work with, no matter what their background is and what it is that their business is. So, it really is everywhere from like Botox to plumber. I mean, everything in between. Yeah. No, that's a long answer to your question there. I do not have a specific field that I work with.
Yeah. Well, that keeps it fresh and exciting. I would think.
Does. It actually, I think, makes me have to work harder and just be better and like continue learning. Because if I was just regurgitating stuff, it would be old and I wouldn't be trying very hard. But when I have to learn about your business and kind of who you are and what you stand for, and I really have to take all that into consideration, it makes everything I do that much more targeted to your business.
I would think that, it forces you to learn and level up quickly, and learning about all these different industries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Helps you with all the other ones,
Yes.
I would think.
Yeah.
There's some overlap, but you mentioned wanting to do more like speaking.
Yes.
So what are kind of your goals with that? And have you done any speaking recently or anything?
So my summer was a little bit of a hiatus because I was supposed to be moving, and so my life was kind of in the forefront and not my business. But I didn't move, and here I am. So back to the grind. So I would like to get into, I've been looking for like industry conferences where there's a room full of people who, whatever the industry is, they all sell insurance, they all do hair, they all are electricians, whatever it might be, who need that help, from a small business perspective. Also things just like chambers of commerce, those have been excellent. I've done quite a few of those talks. And that's a great way to get in front of, large groups of business owners who are all there. I mean, there is never a shortage of people who need marketing and who've got questions about what they should be doing. So those are awesome places to be doing that at. Yeah.
And that'll be another touch point for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great way to market your services too, like being in a group of a bunch of business owners.
It is.
So I think that's probably a really awesome way to.
It is. And I'm working on some like course creation right now too. Still kind of figuring out exactly what that's going to look like as I'm developing it, but it's just another way for me to be able to help more people than just doing one-on-one. And don't get me wrong, I love the one-on-one, but it means more to me to help a lot than it does to just help the few. So. Yeah.
Do you follow Alex Hormozi?
I don't.
Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay, yeah, you should definitely follow him.
Okay. What does he do?
He does marketing.
Okay.
Well, he's a big time YouTuber, like grew really fast. He actually started helping people launch gyms. He had this business called Gym Launch.
Okay.
Got super good at it, and now he's like, I think, a billionaire.
And what's his name again?
Basically, Alex Hormozi.
Hormozi, okay.
Gary V. Like he's one of those guys in the marketing space that's just super smart. I love how transparent he is, and his little tagline is like, I have nothing to sell you, because he gives away so much. He just came out with his second book that he gave away for free, just like his first one.
Wow.
Audio and
nice,
like the Kindle version for free.
Nice.
And then he has 2 courses on his website now that are completely free.
Wow.
And his thing now, his business is acquisition.com, and he buys or basically invests in like $1 million companies.
Okay.
And so his kind of goal is like, if I give enough stuff away for free, I can actually help these businesses like grow that I can actually invest in someday.
I love it.
Basically. So,
I love it.
Yeah, anyways, that was
Okay.
an aside, but
No,
he's
thanks.
really, really
I'll
good.
check him out.
But yeah, that's cool with the public speaking. Have you always had an interest in speaking in front of people? Is that like a strength of yours, or?
Well, oddly enough, I
you had to
am very
develop
much
it?
an introvert.
Okay, yeah.
Like I just had somebody ask me for lunch next week, and I was like, I'm already doing 2 things that morning. I don't think I'll be feeling very people-y by noon, so can we do it another day? So I do, but I think when you're on stage, and this goes, I'm sure like actors could tell you this too, you're kind of get to be somebody different. And so, well, of course, when I'm on stage, I'm myself and I'm just talking about what I do for a living. There's a disconnect between you and the reality of like, oh my God, I'm standing here. It's hard to explain. So it's more important to me to actually get in front of those people and do what I'm doing, and then kind of just swallow that little bit of stage fright and fear, because I know what I'm doing is really helping folks. And I think I've always said too, I think it's good to be a little bit nervous. I think it keeps me humble. If I was way too confident and feeling too big for my britches, I'd probably, get up there and fall on my face or something silly. So it's nice to do hard things sometimes too.
Oh yeah. That's how you get better.
Yeah.
I mean, got to fail a little bit. Got to do things you're afraid of.
Yeah, and if I didn't feel like I was making an impact, then I would switch gears and do something else.
Sure.
But I think it does help people. I think I really try to do everything I do with authenticity and with integrity. That's, I will be very transparent. And like I said, that's why we're all for somebody. There might be somebody that works for and some it doesn't. But for the most part, I think people really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to make more content on social media. Like you said, you've seen some of it, talking to the camera, and I've realized like some people probably think I'm really annoying. Like even editing the videos, I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird, but I'm just gonna post it and move on because it's important. And but I have found the right audience, and it's growing. So it's important to push yourself, and I'm getting better at it. Like I can see myself improving. So.
Well, and to say anything about the haters who feel that, for one, most of us are way too concerned with ourselves to really worry about what anyone else is doing. So I am the worst critic of my own social media and my own postings, and I will, oh my gosh, I hate the sound of my voice or whatever it is, but nobody else really cares enough. And if they do, they are not your people anyways. So
most people are just like, especially if they know you, they're like so proud. Like people.
Yes. So
my
brave.
Friends and family tell me like, oh, your content's awesome. Like, I can't believe you're putting this stuff out there. I'm like, really? I think it's dumb. I'm my biggest critic,
of
I
course.
think is what I'm trying to say.
But again, that's what keeps you humble and keeps you working hard, and that's what makes you, the successful human that you are. So keep doing it.
Yeah. You too.
Thank you.
I'm an introvert myself too. But it's weird. I've found that when I'm on stage, I'm a lot less scared than like walking into a big room of people I don't know, because at least like I have the mic and I know no one's gonna like talk over me or whatever. Right. It's kind of weird. Like I feel like most people would be afraid to have a mic in their hands. Like above all, like public speaking is one of the biggest fears, I think. I think there's some statistic out there.
But I think that like to that point though, if you know your stuff and you're good at it, like I can imagine even being an introvert and doing what you do, I would imagine you come out of your shell, and if you're suddenly directing and you're like, no, the lighting needs to be this way, no, stand this way, no, we have to do that again, no, speak louder, like there's this confidence that comes up in you because you know what you're talking about. Yeah. So there's that confidence that builds that you're like, no, I have to get this out, I have to tell the story, I have to do this right because this is my thing, this is my gift. So I think it makes it easier when you are passionate and that talent and that gift are being used.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool. We're just wrapping up here, but one of my last questions is like, where do you want to be in 5 years with your business, with speaking? Do you want to like do a TED Talk? Is that like the ultimate goal? Anything?
Yeah. It's funny, when I started my business, even though, I told my story of what a great story it was I was so against it. I did not want to work for myself. I didn't want to do all the things. My husband's like encouraging me, and I'm like, no, oh my gosh, just getting a business license is hard. And now that I'm in it, I can't imagine doing anything else. But I do love the opportunities to keep thinking about like growing and expanding and changing, and how do I help more? So I do have another book I'm working on, which is a very similar book, but it's for nonprofits and geared more towards the nonprofit world. So I hope that between both of those books, I can get in front of more audiences that need, marketing, whether it's small business or nonprofits. Like I said, creating those courses. And no, I wouldn't say a TED Talk is necessarily my dream, but really just more of those opportunities to get my information out there. I don't want to say my name because it has nothing to do with my name, but my heart and my information out there for marketing. And not just marketing, it's like that whole, what we talked about, the whole gamut of just, starting a solid business, to have that integrity and all of that behind it. And then the rest of the marketing piece tends to fall into place a little easier.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Love it. Well, cool. That just about wraps it up. That went by so fast.
I know,
it's already
it did.
been about a half hour.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that you thought of me, and this was a lot of fun.
Yep. Thanks for coming on and sharing your passion. I get inspired by other passionate people, so it's great to have you. And hope this helps you out. And if you want to kind of plug any social channels, where can people find your book?
Oh, gosh, great. You're better at marketing than I am. Shoot. Yes, I am on Instagram and Facebook, The Jen Advantage, and jenadvantage.com is my website. And then my book can be found Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, any of those places online.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody go on Amazon, drop it in the cart, and support.
100%. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Cool. See you guys next time.